What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? This your boy Scott Lewis, Apartment Gamer and more. What's good? What's good, man? Yeah, we gonna sitting up here looking at some of the Nets news, checking out some stuff. Let me bring up some information. Let's see here. Who knows? Okay, let's bring this up. I got some Whitehead into make or break 25. Yeah, I knew White Jarick this season would be very important for him. Um he need to show up because he's been in the league for a little bit now, and the situation is getting dire for Jarick. Let's bring him up. Yahoo Sports. It's Nets Tariq Whitehead into making. Let me bring his thing up louder so we can see it. A make or break season for Dariq Whitehead. Being that the Nets picked up all these guards, and this situation for him is dire. I mean, he needs to show that he belongs in the league, man. The Brooklyn Nets forward Dariq Whitehead is heading into the third season of the, and it don't seem like it. It seemed like yesterday, but it's been 3 seasons already. He sat out practically a whole season and then did half of one. I believe he hasn't did a whole season yet until last year. Selected by the Nets in the 22nd overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft prior to the beginning of the 25 season, while I've been competing for a spot in head coach Jordy Fernandez rotation. I don't know. I don't know. I feel about better now that I did in college. I hope so, because in college you was doing your thing, man. I mean, I'm surprised that you still got a spot. But I mean, they giving you the opportunity. You can't say the Nets ain't give you a real good opportunity to showcase your skills, and whether you even be with the Nets or get picked up in free agency, you have an opportunity to show your skills, which is probably the most important thing. Um, Let me see. I feel like this is the last step for me. You should be feeling some kind of pressure. Like I said, this is going to be an important summer for me. Whitehead said following a 114 win over the New Orleans Pelicans in April, Whitehead was coming off one of his best games of 2019 while foreshadowing how big next season will be for him. Since I've been hurt, I haven't been able to just work on those things, get my athleticism back, and just doing certain movements. Whitehead continued while explaining how his past injuries have hindered his development in the NBA. Just me attacking this season is going to be really important for me, and being able to listen to Coach Fernandez when we have existing meetings, and whatever we want me to do, make sure implemented to my summer routine so that I'm coming back stronger next year. Okay. Whitehead 21 is coming off a 24-25 campaign in which he averaged 5.7 points, 1.5 rebounds per game while shooting 40%. 41. I give him 41 from the field, 44.6 from 3 point range. And the numbers are good. I mean, as far as shooting is concerned, he has skill. I'm not going to sit there and tell you he don't. He has skill, but the question is it is it overcrowded? Is it too late? Is it do he need a new venue? Do he need a new opportunity somewhere else? Or can he make this team because of the amount of bodies that the Nets have because of picking up 5 draft picks puts a lot of pressure on everybody, especially in the guard position. So Whitehead gave his interview in the 24-25 season following a win over the Pelicans. And I hope everything works out for him. I really do. I really, really do. He deserves an opportunity and he deserves a shot. So hopefully everything goes well for Derek. Jonathan, what's up? Hey, John, what's good? Yeah, just going over some of the Nets news. Um, the Nets wire. Let's see what else we're going to talk about. Let me go to X and see what's going on with the Nets. Let's see what's going on. Well, matter of fact, I'm gonna leave out of that and go back to. Let me bring up some stuff that I was looking at. Okay, 1 second. Okay. Okay, when you look at the Nets roster and how it's being played out, of course we don't have a lot of faith in our leaders right now. I'm hoping that Jordy can do a miracle with some of these players and get them situated to where we next year can make another move. Apparently, it seems like we are pushing for next year's draft as well and development and see if we could pick up a star or two next year. I have given Sean Marks a lot of rope. And sometimes when you give people a lot of rope, they hang themselves or either can save themselves. And I don't know, man. If it starts off real bad with the rookies and no development going on, or it doesn't fit what Jordy wants to do, it's not going to look good. It really is not going to look good. Yeah, I would. John saying it would be good if Brooklyn used the cap space soon and resign or trade Cam Thomas to solve that situation, so that there aren't so many questions going into training camp. I totally agree with you. That thing with Cam Thomas is a mess. It shouldn't, and it really doesn't need to be because I know Cam has and his agent has to know there's no money really out there, and the situation that the Nets are trying to maintain that cap space so they can do some kind of miracle next year, or you never know exactly what can materialize. You have to be ready. And the thing about it is, with Cam's situation, if the Nets give you an offer for 2 or 3 years, you have to you have to, I mean, it would be wise. I'm saying that you have to, you can bet on yourself, but I'm telling you right now, it's not easy betting on yourself in this league when every year there's new players coming out. So you have to, if somebody giving you a guarantee 14, 15, 16, $16 million, you I don't know how you turn that down with the situation with the apron and the way these teams are navigating right now. Nobody wants to go over the apron. Now, if that's something that all these organizations are kind of trying to work against, then that's a situation that you can't really control. You can't. I mean, the way the owners and the way the league is leaning is like they leaning to cut back on the movement of players around the league, limiting the money or the money cap and the cap space. They're obeying this second apron they're trying to avoid. So this way it controls the movement of players. That's the only thing I can say. John also ultimately Cam Thomas has a choice here, and if he feels like he's not valued, well, yeah, I think he might feel that way by now. But or is expendable pawn to Brooklyn's future, he can take the $6 million qualifying offer and test the 2026 free agency. That is true. That is that is true. Now, I was checking out like a couple of other net content creators like Breezy Show and Nets Kingdom and Ice and everybody kind of saying that it's not looking good. Well, in the case of AJ at Nets Kingdom, he was saying that it doesn't look good, like like somebody's gonna like Cam is gonna leave. So and it's a possibility. It really is a possibility. But it it's becoming a bigger mess than what is necessary, I think. I don't know if it's really the fans are kind of like trying to push the narrative that we should sign him right away. If it's time, they have a little time to decide whether what they're going to do. My thing is, you know how the media is in New York and Brooklyn or whatever. Any little thing is magnified like 10x. So that's the way that goes. It's a tough situation to be in, to be honest. Let me bring up some more content about. Let's check this out. What's going on in the league? Here's I like to read X because the fans and the guys in X on X and the Nets content is pretty good. I mean, everybody brings up a valid point. So, um, let's see. Let me bring up this thing that Breezy brought up about roster construction, and let's see if I can bring it out. Here it is. Uh, okay, the Brooklyn appeared to be implementing a strategy focused on securing a top pick in the 2026 NBA draft. Clearly, and I'm not knocking that, like that the Nets shouldn't go for the a top pick in 2026 draft. I'm just saying it's not a good feeling for the fans, especially the fans, when it comes to losing and winning. It's a terrible feeling when you winning and losing. It's a terrible feeling. Nobody wants to go through that. Nobody wants to go through that winning and losing. I mean, it's tough. It's really tough for the fans. So I get it. I understand why, losing sometimes can be beneficial, especially when you're looking for to get talent out of the draft. And the 2026 draft seems just as good as last year to me, especially the top 3 or 4. Clearly, clearly, it's decent. I ain't gonna lie to you. John also says, but in the same breath, I can't take this qualifying offer. He's likely getting traded for some type of asset. because the Brooklyn Nets front office cannot let Cam walk for nothing. That is true. Do you think the Nets can get a number one draft pick for Cam Thomas? Do you think the Nets can get a number one? Do we think that the Nets can get a number one draft pick? That's the question. I'd call it a failure if Marks and Joe can't um lease meet Cam in the middle around 16, 18 million for 2 years with a player option. But if not, Mark's negotiation issue again hurt the team. Yeah, totally agree with you. Totally agree with John with that because clearly, I mean, that's not a lot of money considering what Cam is capable of. Um, he has to play. Yeah, I mean, I think he should take the offer. He should not go into the free agency next year. I don't think it's going to be beneficial. It might. I mean, the way these teams are moving with the avoiding the apron, it's not looking good. It really is. I think the way that the league is constructed right now is making it difficult for players in Cam Thomas type of skill set to flourish. Because at one time, a six man can easily make over 20, $25 million. Cam Thomas is being looked at as a six man, clearly, because he hasn't shown anything else. And it doesn't mean that if he does go to a good team or a team that can utilize his skills, that he won't show more than just scoring. And if he do, it'll be the Nets' loss because clearly you could have just he was here. You could have finished developing him into the position that he's capable of. I'm be honest with you. I can't see how we even can honestly say we gave him a clear opportunity to show his full skill set and develop into a like this perennial two guard with the team that we had the past 2 or 3 years, or even with the organization and what we was trying to do. Because clearly we wasn't trying to win last year. Last year we was tanking. Whether it's a poor tank job or not, we still was tanking. It was games where I saw Jordy just take people out, and they probably could have won the game and put other people in the game. So we was tanking last year. Whether it's a good job or not, we was tanking. So uh, I don't know, man. I really don't know. I'm just kind of disturbed about the way things are right now. So for me, it's kind of messy. It's a messy business. Things are real messy right now. So I just wish the best for the Nets, man. I really do. I just don't want to go through another season of losing, but if I am, it better come out because I can't really just say, "Oh, it's Sean Marks," and we get the worst record in the NBA, and then turn around, go to the draft, and get the fifth or the sixth pick. There's a difference between the sixth spot or the fifth spot and first, second, and third in the 2026 draft. That I can tell you, just like it was this year. There's a difference between Fears and Cooper Flag. There's a difference. I mean, Fears is a good player. Don't get me wrong. It was reported as this is John again. It was reported that Zaire and Dayron deal aren't done yet because Nets are exploring salary dump options with cap space to get more draft asset. Okay. No, well, that makes sense. I mean, clearly the Nets are just just want to just do a new team. If that's the case, they clearly going bottom out. They should just bottom out. You're going to be the worst team in the league. We're going to lose every game. The rookies will play, but I don't know how much they're going to learn because you don't learn a lot losing a lot. just because you playing doesn't mean you benefiting, you getting that skill set better when you getting your ass waxed on the court. I don't see how that benefits. Maybe the players are better than what they are. Maybe they'll be better. Anthony Simon, Terry Rozier, Josh Green, Max Keebler are some potential salary dump options. John says, "Okay, that is possible. I mean, we could do some salary dumping." When is it going to stop? That's the question I ask. When are we going to make a run? Because you got to make eventually you got to put a team together. You can't just keep dumping and losing and dumping and waiting for that superstar that might not never come. Maybe 10 years later. That's what you. I mean, I don't want to be. I don't want my team to be that bad for that long. I mean, that's just my opinion. But I mean, I get where you coming from with the salary dump. I get it. I get he should have did it last year. should have found a way to get rid of Johnson last year. I mean, he did get a number one pick for him, and what did we get? What did you get for that number one pick? Getting it in the top 5 of the 22 is a must. Given Brooklyn doesn't have a homegrown franchise prospect. I would agree with that. I mean, it gotta be. I mean, if you're doing all this to get the 6th pick or the 5th pick, I don't know, man. I really don't know if that's what y'all want to do because you're not going to like the team. You're not going to like the team next year. If we get, say, for instance, Cam Boozer, then it'll be successful because then you still need a free agent. He can't do it by himself. You're going to need a free agent. You're going to have to build your team with some solid free agents. And I mean solid. Not no Terry Rozier. That's not going to get it. That's not going to get it. Hey, what's up, Quest One? What's good, man? I'm sitting up here talking about the Nets' future, and it's you know how I feel. I always look on the bright side. I'm a Net fan, of course. I'm gonna sit up here and say good things, but there's no way possible I'm gonna sit here and constantly hammer myself to wanting to get to want a losing season. I mean, I'm getting tired of it. Just like every fan will be getting tired of it. I understand next draft. I understand that you want to do what you need to do to get to next draft, but that's it's a hard pill to swallow, man. It's hard, 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 hard. Yeah, we need a core. We need a core player. We need one good core player. One good core player. One good core player in a draft. It may be ego or no, it maybe we underestimating what we got right now. Maybe we underestimating the skill level of these players that we have right now. Could be. The only way we're gonna find out is we're gonna see this season what they're capable of. That's the only way. John is saying, unfortunately, the front office can't commit to a direction. There's not a balance in that front office. The 2020 is important for the Nets to add some vets or a star. Mm, yeah. Well, we can't really look at all the stars in the league because some of them, the ones that we know of, are leaving. LeBron is up there. We can't look at LeBron. LeBron ain't coming to Brooklyn. You know, there's a lot of players that's not going to. Embiid is gone. You know, there's Kyrie ain't coming back here. There's a lot of shit going on there. It's just not going to happen. A lot of those players are not coming back. They're coming over here. So it ain't the superstars that we know of now. It has to be the next generation. Shea is in Oklahoma. Say he ain't leaving there. So the Celtics have their little situation. They're not. Ain't none of them leaving there. Not unless it's bleak when it comes to free agency. We need a new star and we need somebody new to come in and do you see that in anybody in the draft this coming draft? Do we see a man child like LeBron that came into this league and demanded and made teams play to his game, control teams, control games? Have we seen anybody in the draft like that? Anybody? Yeah, I agree with Quest One with that. Directionless leadership. It seems crazy. It seems like we just floating and everybody is just want to keep losing the float. And we're gonna stay aimlessly floating in the middle of the ocean. That's what it feels like. I Quest One is right about that. We need a leader for real. Jordy, I hope Jordy is the coach that we really needed. I really do. If he is, then it's quite possible that this team can have some kind of, even in a loss, look good, look like they building something. I don't want to be like the Hornets and just every day is a fucking gloom day. This is Brooklyn, man. The Brooklyn Nets, man. This is Brooklyn. We don't losing is not good. We don't like losing. Thanks, Quest One, for the liking. John Sharon to Trey Young, Daryl Peterson, Igor Demens, and Danny Wolf would be a fun starting unit for the 26 scoring, playmaking, and versatility. Yeah, it'd be fun to look at. I never said that I didn't want Trey Young. I never said I wouldn't take him. I never said that. I never said that I wouldn't take Trey Young. I would take Trey Young. If you're gonna cap out and have a losing season to try to get a pick, you got to bring some kind of excitement to the table. It's just no way you going. It's just no way you're gonna have a season of doom and despair. Yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah. A lot of people came for KD. KD is one of my best players, man. KD, yeah, I could dig that. I can dig that. It was fun with KD here. I ain't gonna lie. Being that KD said the dysfunction, and maybe it is coming from the organization, that a superstar of his caliber is just saying, it just seemed crazy. It just went crazy. That means that somehow management didn't want to believe in the players for some reason. Like Katie is one of the examples. He's seen so much. It's like having It really is like having somebody to tell you exactly what to do and how to do it. Like it's like a coach, like a GM. He probably can run a team. He probably know talent when he sees it, and when he saw the writing on the wall, he wanted out. He wanted out. When you don't stand up for your star player, there's no way, you know, the controversy should be that great with the players that you had. No way, no way. I'm gonna put the link in. I'm gonna put the link in. It's no way we should have had that much controversy with two stars that KD and Kyrie. We should not have that much fucking shit going on. We really shouldn't. Thanks, Quest One. Thanks. All right, let me see what John is saying. Quest One problem, Quest, is the communication style of Brooklyn Nets front office. What's good? What's good? What's up, John?
How you doing?
All right, man. I'm good. I'm good. Yeah, what's good, man?
Good show so far.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit. I let the whole week go by without really talking too much. I read it. I went into everybody else's comments about what the team direction should be, but you know, I get it. I get it. I get it. I get why people feel the way they do. It's been over the place and sending mixed signals to the players for 9 years. Man, John, you counted every year, didn't you? Yeah, yeah. Question one, but I'm still going to support the team even if Cam is gone. That's good, Quest one. I don't think Cam is going nowhere. I just think this is just bad business and the way this is what happened when you don't have leverage as a player. You don't have leverage. When you don't have leverage, teams and
It's it's
organizations.
actually
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you, John.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
this.
you
Go ahead.
you made some very valid points so far. It's unfortunate the Cam situation still unsettled. We still have cap space we haven't used. It's August right now. Media is like a few weeks away. Like it would be nice if this stuff got resolved like now because you've already had July. Now you're like in the dog days of August. It's just I know the organization is trying to use their cap space strategically, but the Cam situation you can't let it go to September. If it goes September, odds are he's likely taking that qualifying offer. And just like I said in the comment, he has a choice. If he feels undervalued, if he feels like he's worth more than mid-level exception, he feels like this organization doesn't see him as a third option at the very worst. He could say, "I'll take the qualifying offer. You want to trade me? You trade me." I have teams like the Wizards, Clippers, Lakers, teams that have more cap space next year, and if they value what I got, I'm willing to test that market. And even though the market isn't great for Cam right now, if teams had 18 and 19 mil to give him to be a six man, they probably would give that to him at this moment. I think the organization, by agreeing with NBA media, they've really isolated themselves from Cam Thomas. It's not that Cam got isolated from them; they isolated themselves from him. And I think my problem with the organization is you've had no problem placating a lot of players whose skill sets were limited. And when Cam Thomas, a guy who doesn't have a defined role, has had to force his way to be some type of asset on this team, and you still don't like him, why would Cam want to play your game? I think when I thought this happened, I thought I would be on the Brooklyn organization side of things. But
Yeah,
seeing how badly they treated him, you have to look at it from both sides of the coin. We could look at it from NBA media bashing him everything he's bad at, but was it Cam's fault that he didn't develop the way he should have, or was it the system around him? They don't want to talk about that, but I will. So I feel like for Cam Thomas, he doesn't have to play their game. If he knows he's going to be an expendable piece, he can take that qualifying offer, and then we have to trade him for something. Probably not anything crazy. I know you said like a first round pick. If he's making 6 million salary, you'll be lucky to get a protected pick or some seconds at that point for Cam, because not a lot of teams are going to want to hard cap themselves for Cam Thomas. So I feel like if he takes a qualifying offer, nobody really wins that, and I would think Sean Marks and Joe Desai should take a huge level of blame for that because they didn't do everything in their power to meet Cam in the middle a little bit. I hope there's still some time left, but time is fast approaching, and it's very unfortunate that this is still going on. It's messy, it's chaotic. Cam Thomas already had to go toe to toe with NBA media. So for the Brooklyn Brass to just watch it all happen, thinking that this is playing into my favor, is it playing to your favor? Because look at the season ahead of us. It's going to be a nasty ass season, and at least
yeah,
having Cam gives the fan base something to cheer about because offensively he's going to take some pressure off these guys. You take Cam out the equation, these young guys are not going to have big, impactful games to start until maybe the end of the season. So, really, what are we trying to build here? Are we just trying to sell tickets, or are we trying to build a real foundation? And I still think Cam could be a part of that as a third or sixth guy, not as a one or two. But if the organization doesn't even see him as those other things, it's going to be hard to see Cam want to stay here because he wants to feel like he's valued. And unfortunately, the organization doesn't want to meet him at all with that.
yeah. I agree with you. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough for
Next
me
question.
to see them not, make the necessary moves to secure your bench or players,
Hmm.
because you can't just lean on one or two players and think, oh, everything is great. And I thought the objective of everything was to try to win a title, and
Right.
you can't win a title without a team.
Exactly. And if you just have Michael Porter Jr., again, listen, he's probably going to be the number one guy, but he's a third option at best. He's had back issues. Like, everybody thinks he's just going to start scoring you 25, 26 points because it's the only option. He's going to have to adjust too, especially
Yeah,
playing with a lot of young guys. So people got to realize for him, it's going to be an adjustment period. But at least having Cam Thomas, you have two guys that are going to score some points for you, and maybe you'll steal a few games here or there. But I
yeah,
think that's better than just having one guy having to carry the whole load, and all these young guys are just screwing up and not feeling like they could just, evolve their games the normal progressive way. Like
yeah,
that's why having Cam Thomas, who's like a bit of a shield, helps in that department. But this organization doesn't want to play like that and just rather these guys go through fire and brimstone. Okay, but like I think Breezy said in his thing too, you don't want to create a losing culture. Listen, at the end of the day, if these guys do win games against bad teams, resting their players, it's good moral victories. But at the same time, next year's draft at the very top of next year's draft, there are some guys who possess franchise level skills. We don't have that franchise guy. So if we somehow do get in that top five, which organization should do everything in their power to, it makes this tough season worth it. And if these young guys do develop through the adversity and hold their own, then in 2026, I think this team is going to start having those habits to start winning the right way. But you need that franchise guy. If the Nets botch it this year and we get the sixth or seventh pick again, Scott, that's an atrocious failure. We traded away our valuable Sons of Mav picks to draft Diego Demon and a guy who's not even in the top five. Like, that's just wasting so much time for the Brooklyn faithful, for the players. Like these two drafts were about finding at least one or two franchise guys that can lead the way forward. You can't just have good character guys dish out the ball and not give you anything else in between. You need that franchise guy. I feel like this organization, they don't control what's going on in the front office. It's, oh, we need a friendly family environment. Yeah, I need to know what the coach says. I want to know what the scouts say. At the end of the day, Sean and Joe, this is your brainchild. If you guys aren't taking the accountability and leadership to lead the actual vision, this is why we're in circles and going through the same repetitive cycle of not winning, of being so much self destruction with our own organization. And it's a sad thing to see because the Brooklyn faithful have been loyal to this team for the last 9 years. And I give
Yeah,
them a lot of credit because to go through what we've gone through, the little ups and the big downs, it's a lot. It's a
yeah,
toll even on the base, just as much the players, because we want sustainability. We wish we could be a team like the Boston Celtics who got to play a Christmas game for the last decade, you know? And now they're
that's
not
right.
because they're tanking somewhat. But like the Nets want to be in that position where at least we're competing for something every year. And the fact we
Right.
have to take this slow approach, and the slow approach isn't even working because the organization is just botching it, it makes you frustrated. Because
Yeah.
if we got a Dylan Harper or a Ace Bailey this year, and then you have to look forward to getting the Boss of Boozer, the base would be beyond excited because you at least have two franchise guys to lead the new way forward, and you have good young depth guys as well. The problem is we're gambling so much on upside and reach that we don't know what these guys are going to be in the next 2 years. I hope they can develop the rotation guys, but if you take Cam out the equation, these guys are going to have way more weight on their shoulders to match up to that pressure, and you don't want them to feel that burden. You want them
Right.
to feel like they can just develop. I just don't understand this organization's full throttle game plan yet. But if they don't get a top pick next year, you think you go back into that market to get a star? You have to do it through the trade route because free agency is not looking as great as I thought it would
My
because all these
question
stars are extending.
my question is who's out there worth getting? You don't even you understand what I'm saying? It's only Giannis is the only person that you might have an opportunity to get.
Hmm.
And I don't think he want to come to Brooklyn.
Not
And
by himself,
I don't even think that he want to come to Brooklyn because it's a rebuild team. It's going to take
right?
us 3 years. If we keep
Right.
drafting this way, it's going to take years,
I, I
literally,
I
to
agree
get
with
to a
you.
point. That's not Giannis wanting
Right.
to do. He don't want to do a deal with that.
He wants a second star here. And the thing about Trey Young and his situation, he has an opt out. If he wants to opt out and test free agency, if the Nets somehow pulled off a coup for Giannis and Trey Young is on the board, listen, it's not a perfect duo, but a Giannis Trey Young duo against the Knicks definitely boosts up TV ratings. Definitely gives the Nets something to fight for. And you have these young guys you drafted around a great playmaker in Trey and a beast in Giannis. Now, does Giannis want to team up with Trey? We don't know. But if the Nets could somehow get Trey Young to sign a, let's say, around a $40-50 million salary, more in the 40 range, to pair with Giannis, and you draft a really top prospect in next year's draft, the Nets theoretically could form a potential big three while not being financially burdened to hell at that moment in time. That's potentially one way to go about it. But like I agree with you, Scott, Giannis is not coming here by himself. So if you don't have a second star in mind to pair with Giannis, he's not going to want to buy your pitch. And then you look
Yep.
at who else could be available. There's Joker, but he might re up with the Nuggets next year. And Donovan Mitchell, you really got to pay attention to him because the Cavs are right now over the second apron. He has an opt out in the 2027 free agency. And if the Cavs don't win a title these next 2 years in a very weak East, look at Donovan Mitchell potentially asking his way out. But is Mitchell going to take this Nets team to greener pastures by himself? Probably not. You're going to need a second star to pair with him, which you hopefully would draft. But that's why drafting next year's draft and getting a star, if the Nets can intertwine that somehow beautifully, then you have something to work with. But if you don't, it's definitely going to be hard to cobble it together. And Giannis is going to want to come here with somebody that is established. And if you could draft well, that works. But I don't know if this organization knows how to think out that process. It's easy for them to get the stars, but everything around it they never really focus on too much. So I agree with you, Scott. Giannis is going to want at least a second guy with him, but the Brooklyn Nets have to financially put themselves in that position to make it work. And you have to hope you could draft somebody too that fits with a Giannis and a Trey Young and a hypothetical I just proposed to you. But
Yeah.
you have to see how next year's draft goes first before we think about the Giannis stuff.
Yeah, it's a testy thing, man. I don't know. I'm just gonna look at the bright side, but for some reason I feel like we're on an uphill climb because it's no way I just don't see we have to see what these rookies are capable of. So
Right.
and that's the first thing. And the vets that's on the team already that came from last year, we have to really evaluate who we want to keep and who we probably to let go. But it's going to be tough. I
It
tell you
it, it
one thing.
definitely is.
I tell you whose job is on the line.
Yeah.
Sean Marks.
He's on borrowed time. Scott, say it right. He's on borrowed time, like
he
5 years
and
on
you
borrowed
know me,
time.
John. I give him a lot of try to I really tried. I really tried. I really tried to see if he could do what he need to do. But
I just don't like his communication style, Scott. Like at the end of the day, I feel like he's just such a bad, hypocritical negotiator. He always wants all the big assets in return. He always wants to be the guy in control. But you look at how the Stars reacted; they want his ass fired. And
yeah,
then you look at Midkel. He thought Midkel would recruit a star for him. Midkel's like, "Get me the hell out of here! Like this
yeah.
ain't what I want." Like I think Sean Mark's problem is he expects people to buy into his vision. It still mind boggles me. This guy actually worked with and played for the Spurs, an organization that's one of the best organizations in the NBA, and he didn't learn a damn thing from Greg Popovich and those guys. Like you need an actual big man. And for some reason, Sean Marks has a phobia of 7 footers. I mean, this draft showed you he didn't want a Reynard, didn't want a Mallywalk. Well, let's get a Danny Wolf because we can convert him into a combo big. There's no telling if that's going to work or not. I like Danny Wolf. But to
Yeah.
ask him to turn into a Sengun Sabonis, man, you better hope Jordy and him can develop some type of bond there because
I
I
don't think
haven't
that's his
seen it to believe
game.
it.
I don't really think that's his
Yeah,
game.
but
It's
that's
not.
just it. Marks tries to force players to adapt to roles that they're not used to. Sometimes it's worked,
Yeah.
other times it just hasn't worked, and that's a
Yes.
huge problem.
Yeah, yeah, because if you
Like
really
he
want to
definitely
think
is on
about
borrowed
it,
time.
if you really want to think about it, he could have just drafted a center. He could have drafted Molly
Yep,
Watt. He could have got him.
he definitely could have.
He could have got Molly
If
Watt
you
and then worry about guards later on. You have four other picks.
Exactly. If you drafted Maliwalk and then you did the Powell I didn't want to say Ben's right. You did the Powell
No,
and then you did the Trayor and then the Seraph thing. I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I still don't want Seraph, but then you could have got Fleming, and I'm like, okay, I got a forward, I got a center, I got 3 guards. It's not
right.
great, but it's not bad. But it just
No.
seems like they didn't care about that. And next year's draft, there's a lot of great forwards in next year's draft and some good centers. So that definitely would be something to aim for if this organization. But you could have solved that this year. I just think
Yeah,
this organization
considering
just
that you had five picks, that's right. You
yeah,
could you only got one pick next year so
exactly.
far.
Like
So
yeah,
now
it's
you
like
have to negotiate and scrounge and scour the other teams to try to get another first round pick, which is going to be almost impossible. Everybody else is looking for this draft as well.
exactly like it's like trying to win a lottery with a buck. And the thing is, it really is. And the thing is, I understand this positionless evolution of basketball we're going into. But at the end of the day, all these guys are playmakers. Okay, that's one thing. But as far as being effective scorers that can take over games, I don't see that with these
None
guys.
of them,
I
not a
see
single one.
because they're missing that star glue guy connector. If you had that in this draft, like a Jeremiah Fears, I'm like, okay, Yegor's going to benefit with his assist playmaking. Okay, Danny Wolf is going to benefit because he'll get a few lobs maybe from Jeremiah Fears. Drake Powell's going to bring that defense that Fears he gives you effort on, but he's not as great at. Like that would have been a good connector to draft to pair with the who you drafted there, but we don't have that guy, so it's going to be hard this year, especially without Cam Thomas, who isn't that guy, but he could be a pretend guy for now could make that a little digestible. But this organization just thinks, oh, the star is going to come here to play with these young guys. If they don't prove themselves, if these young guys don't prove themselves, Why would a Giannis, a Trey, a Mitchell, or a Joker want to come here? This
That's right.
organization doesn't get. They think Jordy's this wizard that can wave a shiny wand, and these guys are going to magically become great players. They play in their first NBA games of their career on October 22nd or 23rd. That's going to be a huge adjustment for them the first few months of the season. Like, it's not
Yeah.
going to be perfect. I see this organization talks a big game, but rarely do they walk the game. That's the problem.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough sledding, man. It's
It
definitely
is.
gonna be tough sledding. I can see it coming. So hey, it is what it is. At this point, I just want to speak encouragement to the
Mhm.
fans because we're about to get some bad business happen to us before it gets better. I could tell. I could tell.
No, you're right about that. It's going to be a tough, long season. I wish the Brooklyn base members the best because there'll be a lot of frustrated nights, a lot of nights where you probably just want to turn off your TV. But I would say watch some of the TV. Definitely look at highlights of the games, especially with the players that are developing, and see the little layers of progression because these guys are going to steal some wins here or there. But the hopeful goal at the end of the season is
Did
that
you
the Nets
see?
somehow do have a top five pick some way, somehow do if they play their cards the right way, finding that fine line. If they find that fine line and they get rewarded with a top pick, a lot to look forward to next year because the Nets could have over $30 million of cap space. You could have a top franchise prospect to join who you drafted this year, and then you have potentially a star or two that are on the trade block or in free agency that maybe you could find a way to maneuver to get. It's
Right.
just what is our timeline to be competitive or contend? I think it is after next year's draft. After next year's draft is when this organization needs to start thinking about winning moves to at least making this team competitive to want to contend, not to just be automatically contending, to be competitive to contend. Because this East is so bad right now. I mean, Scott, I don't know if you saw the Christmas schedule. There's only one team on Christmas Day in the East playing, and that's the Cavs and the Knicks. Meanwhile, every other team playing on Christmas Day is the West. The NBA doesn't even want to talk about the East given how bad it is. For the Brooklyn Nets, if you draft right next year, if there is a star that wants to come to your team, you could theoretically jump from a bottom barrel team to maybe top six if you
Yeah.
play your cards right. But
Yeah.
the goal of this is to not just blow all your assets again on one or two stars. You want there to be a system this time around. You want there to be a buy in from your young guys, from your middle aged guys, from your vets, and your stars if you go that route. There needs to be a buy in. That's the only thing that's ever stopped this team in Brooklyn is that everybody being on the same page and buying into a long term process of winning. This year is going to be very damn tough. But if you get a top five pick at the end of it, that's the best you could hope for. And these young guys showing you some type of development. That's really the best you could hope for this season. But this organization is definitely on the clock as far as building a roster that can be sustainable. And if they don't build that in the next 2 years, this team ain't competitive or contending by 2027. I'll be surprised if Sean Marks is still here because he has to show you he can build a team the right way, but also give this team a competitive edge eventually to win.
I don't
That's
know
going
if
to be the big
Sean.
test.
I don't know if Sean is capable of it. I'm
I don't see it
starting
right
to.
now.
I don't see it neither. The sad thing is, play some of the players, like in the case of Cam Thomas, is in the cross mix of this bull crap. And
Right.
I knew last year and the year before last when the team was breaking up, and I said this is not good for Cam Thomas.
Nope.
It's not good for his development. One, two, it's not good for his position as far as a free agent and signing with it. Even if the Nets didn't decide to keep him, it wasn't going to be good for him. The way the situation with the cap is killing. It's killing players. This
Right.
this this um this whole tier thing is killing players. Really is. The six man is almost non-existent now. I mean, it's like, I mean, it still exists, but it's not. It's not. You're not going to make money. You're not going to
You're
make no
right.
money.
You're
You're
right,
not.
Scott.
You're not going to make no money.
It's an unfortunate situation for Cam Thomas. I just think this organization, they're really just like undervaluing him to an extreme degree. Like, I understand he's not a long term part of your future, but at the end of the day, you got to meet him somewhere in the middle. if you're just going to lowball the crap out of him after NBA media has basically tried to destroy every ounce of credibility of his game, why would Cam Thomas want to stay on this team? At the end of the day, this organization that should be protecting him a little bit.
They
They had
don't
no problem
protect
doing
none.
it. They,
They
they
don't.
protected Ben Simmons more than they protected Cam Thomas, which is mind-boggling me. They protect the Milan model. That's Ben Simmons' nickname. He is now known as the Milan model. They gave him more protection than Cam Thomas. They gave him a bulletproof vest. They literally sent Dennis Schroeder on a fan for this guy. Whereas with Cam Thomas, they kick this kid in the nuts, and Sean Marks will say, "Damn, you still have to sign the $14 million." Like no, I don't got to sign nothing. If you don't even see me as a third or sixth man, I can go get my money elsewhere. Maybe not the 30 million, but if a team offers me 18 to 20 mil and they're a competitive team, I'll sign it. Like, and if John Marks is like, okay, but if Cam Thomas does sign with another team and he kicks our ass and wins the title, oh man, there's gonna be a good amount of the Brooklyn base that are gonna be upset with him because you
Yeah.
didn't even want to give this kid a side job on this
Right.
team to be a part of the core. And you do need side role players. I'm not going to say Cam is a role guy, but he's at least a third or sixth man at worst if
Yeah.
he
The
actually got
worst.
to develop his game. And he's
Yeah.
only 23. Like he
Yeah.
has 3 to 4 years before he hits his prime.
Right.
And if
Right.
he's not
Right.
going to follow his organization, I wish him the best with his future. But this needs to get resolved. Either Cam Thomas is a part of your future or he's not. And if he's not, sign and trade him somewhere else and not let this be a distraction for the young guys. Not let it be a distraction for his followers, people who really believe in him. Not let it be a distraction for the future of the Brooklyn Nets because I don't want Cam Thomas to feel like he's a burden or he's unhappy. We
Yeah. Yeah.
cannot have that type of dysfunction anymore. But at the end of the day, if that's what happens, he gets signed and traded and he kicks ass elsewhere, Sean and Joe, that is a huge loss. You couldn't even negotiate a contract with a guy off a rookie deal. Like, how can you still be in charge if you can't get that done? It's unfortunate. It's just a mess right now.
Yeah. What's up, Ice?
Ain't nothing. Chillaxing.
Yeah,
How are
Yeah.
it's
you?
How you feel about this Nets debacle?
I'm fine with it. Not a
Yeah.
It's not a finished product, so you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's going to be looking crazy for a while until you know what I'm saying we start seeing where it's going. Right now, where it's going is a question. You know what I'm saying. You gotta see where it get to. Cam is not. Oh man, talk about Cam. He's not being undervalued. It's just that he doesn't have a value. You know what I'm saying? He's
Right.
not
Right.
being
Right.
undervalued. He just don't have no value. You
Yeah.
know what I
I
mean?
knew it was going to be tough for him 2 years ago. I said it's going to be tough. It's going to be
Yeah,
tough for his development. It's going to be tough for his ability to get paid, man. Because if we tanking and we got a bunch of people in and out the team, Schroeder and this and that, all this controversy from the year before, it's just tough for a rookie to come into that, you know? And you got to remember, Cam only been here 3 years.
right.
yeah,
Oh,
It's not
wow.
like he's been here for 16, 10 years and he's a vet. He's a beginning vet.
right.
Yeah.
So with Cam, John, the label is not people trying to destroy his game. It's just people pointing out exactly what they think he is. They don't think he's a 1, 2, or 3. They directly putting him as six man.
Right,
So
right.
as that, the problem is that he doesn't believe he's a six man, but the majority of the league thinks he's a six man even though he can give buckets
Yeah.
like nobody, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
like a top 5 player, they still see his game is valued as a six man.
Right.
And when he doesn't feel like that and he thinks he's worth more, that's where the problem comes. It's not so much of the Nets. Yeah, they could probably offer him more, but if I'm building something and I see that you're not even a 3, or I'm thinking, you know what I'm saying, I can get you lower for now and keep everything at the minimum. And if you show me more later, I can get you more later, and then we build what we building. You know what I'm saying? You wait
Yeah.
till then. But right now, is at a low for you, and I'm telling you, go find some money, and I will pay you that. And since you can't do that, there's no point in giving you more. But there is, since Jonathan Kaminga and Josh Giddey got offered 20, but at the time, no one was being offered. You know what I'm saying? No, everybody looking for 30, and no one was getting 30. You know what I'm saying? So he was stuck in
Right.
no man's land. You know what I mean?
No, no, you're right about it, Ice. This was the worst time for Cam Thomas to be a free agent because there was no market because nobody had the cap space. The only problem is that the organization never really valued Cam Thomas, never got the proper development. But I also will acknowledge this: Cam has said some stuff in the past where he said, "I'm unguardable. I have nothing to prove to the organization." Like he put his line in the sand last year at the media saying those things. His organization was like, "Okay, we're probably gonna have a standoff," and Cam is still sticking by his guns. I think once he gets older, he'll realize like if he's still valued like this, he'll eventually accept the role as a six man because he'll care about winning as opposed to himself. But given the fact he's so young, of course he's going to bet on himself like this because he believes he's on that level. But if the NBA media already has him downtrodden, the Brooklyn organization does, and other NBA people see it as well, he's eventually have to accept their reality or go to Europe to be a Euro player. Like that's a sad facts of life, but the NBA is showing if you don't play ball with them, you're disposable. And that's a sad, disgusting word to say, especially with
Mm,
somebody so young as Cam. But that's what the NBA is doing. And Sean Marks and Joe Desai, those guys are NBA machine guys. They will follow whatever the NBA says is what has to follow. If this is what OKC has to do to win a title, let's copy them. If Boston has to shoot threes like Stephen Curry, let's follow them. Like Sean and Joe are always going to follow what looks shiny and what looks good. And Cam Thomas, unfortunately, gives you the scoring, but if he doesn't do what those other prototypes do, okay, he's not getting that money. It's just an unfortunate situation, but at the end of the day, Cam has a choice. If he doesn't want to take the 14 million, take the 6 million and get traded elsewhere. But if I was an organization, I would just try to meet him at the middle. We've played a part here in destroying his value. The least we can do is find a 16 to 18 million dollar 2 year offer. But if Cam doesn't want that, Ice, then if I'm Sean and Joe, it's like, okay, I try to give a little rope. He doesn't want it. We'll have to figure out a sign and trade at that point. That's when
Yeah,
I'll agree with the Brooklyn Brass. But at the
like
end of the day,
the
though, this should have been done already. Though there should have been plans in place, and I just think Cam knows the writing's on the wall, and he's not gonna fall down to them unless his agent tells him to. At this point,
like DWAB 17 said, DWAB 117 is he not unguardable though? Is that crazy to think that for him to say? Of course he. I mean, you got to remember Cam comes from that Mamba, type of mentality where he probably he's justified to think that he can score on anybody. He showed it. I mean, even players in the league say this boy is no joke. And they don't take him for granted one bit at all when he's on the court. Not one bit. So I clearly he's worth 17, 18 million. That's being nice. But you gotta remember the league changed. Things
right?
change. Things change and it's not the same. It really ain't. These teams are avoiding that damn second tier thing, and they avoiding it like the plague. And I don't even know if it's really because they don't have the money. I think they just want to control the narrative. They want to control the league and control the players. So, that's what I think. I
yeah,
could
No,
be wrong, but I think
you
that's
get
what it is.
you being in the separate second apron too long, you get taxed crazy work. You get taxed to your draft picks. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Right.
If you stay for
Exactly.
a certain amount of time. So
No,
yeah, they punish you. They punish you for that. So you got to get out of it. You know what I mean? Unfortunately for Cam though, his his play style is what I think is what's killing him. 'Cause I was just watching Amani Bates, and I'm like, bro, how is this dude? He's like another Cam. You know what I'm saying? Like, and they was like, I was watching, then I looked it up. They said he was inconsistent, and his play style don't allow him to play along with winning team type shit. So
right.
I'm looking at him like he was considered to be another Cam Thomas, but he's not as good as Cam though.
Right.
But I'm just looking at him and saying like, damn, like that's probably what it is for Cam. And I seen like what people talk about when I watch Jeff Teague. He's like how people told him, the older players told him, when you got guys making money on your team and you're in a rookie contract, you pass the ball. It doesn't matter if you can score or not. You know what I'm saying? When you get paid, that's when you start putting up crazy numbers. You know what I'm saying? Well, as long as you got guys that's paid ahead of you, you make sure you pass the rock. You get a little bucket here and there, and you score a little bit, but you make sure you pass the rock. And when Cam has opportunity with older guys on the team that's making more than him, he's scoring. You know what I'm saying? So I
Right.
look at all that stuff and picture the organization like, oh, you had Joe on the floor with you, you had this person on the floor, they made more and more, and you scoring, you dropping buckets, and you not averaging higher assists with these dudes. I could imagine them saying some shit like that. You know what
Right.
I mean?
Right. Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
very, very valid points right there for sure. And it's unfortunate situation Cam has found himself in, but this is, like you said, I suggest the way the NBA is looking at things. And another thing, by saying he was unguardable, hence why he got double teamed a lot of times. Everybody's like, okay, this kid says he's the best scorer on the team, which he is, so let's just double team him, and then we could kill that team because none of them can create their own shots like Cam does. And the thing is, Cam did start working on his playmaking in the last 2 years. He was passing out the ball to guys like Doe, Bridges, and Johnson. The only thing was they were all missing their shots. Like, my thing is this: like, you look at the team around Cam the last few years, there hasn't been exactly a balanced, stacked team of guys who offensively gel like they can. So Cam's kind of been on that island alone, and I think that's where the narrative of him being an ISO player that only cares about himself, not about everybody else. He tried here and there. I'm not going to say I didn't see that. It's just the other guys weren't making shots, and that's why his assist stats look so skewed as opposed to last year, where he was finally climbing up the assist ladder, 7 to 10 assists, which nobody said he could do. He did. It's just seeing a larger sample size for him this year. I got to see him play at least 50 to 60 games and have a balanced assist scoring efficiency ratio. If he has those things down pat, I definitely think he's making a case towards getting around that $20 million threshold for himself, but he just has to be healthy. That's one thing that's stopping him. That's not something NBA media can, throw at him. That's just something Cam, unfortunately, has been labeled due to his health situation. But if he could be healthy this year, definitely change a bit of the narrative. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see if he takes the 14 million and tries to prove he can be worth the raise. But at the end of the day, I look at the long term, with this Brooklyn organization. It just feels like Cam is that trade piece they're going to try to use to get a big upgrade down the line because I just don't think they want to see him as a main option because he does want the 30 to 40 million eventually. And I think for the Brooklyn organization, they're trying to save that money for either established talent like a star or a franchise guy they could draft next year. And that's unfortunate for Cam Thomas. But at the end of the day, if the organization doesn't see you as that guy, it's going to be hard for you to make that case. And I just think the NBA overall likes Cam Thomas, but they don't see him as a guy warranting that 30, 40 million because there are more established stars that do way more than him that you're going to have to get financially to work. And that's another thing with the CBA. It really did screw Cam Thomas and a lot of guys' contracts because some guys who do want that 40 to 50 mil, you're not getting it. Even if you offensively are better than some of the stars in the NBA, ultimately, if they could do more than you and are on that superstar level, they're the ones that are going to get the money at the end of the day, not you. So Cam Thomas is going to have to eventually accept some cold hard facts. But at the same time, if he gets an actual investment from a team, maybe he'll show you more than he can right now. It's just for Cam Thomas, how does he want to be invested on a team that doesn't want to invest in him? That's like something that him and Sean are going to have to talk about because clearly they're both on two sides of the aisle, and it feels like a Cold War right now that shouldn't have even really started, given the fact that we're in such a tough situation as is.
Yeah. D-Wop 17 said, thank you for saying that Jonathan, his playmaking
Of
has
course.
gotten a lot better. Yeah. And it did get better, but he does take some tough shots though. And he a tough shot maker, but do you think that the Nets, and this is a good question, do you think the Nets decided to, and I don't, I'm kind of sure they are trying to lowball him. But I mean, that's just pretty much how the league is. Every team does that with money, especially with money. But but the whole thing is, do you think they just went a different way when they picked up that player from Denver?
My MPJ?
Yes.
No, no, no. Still the same. Still the same. He's still like Cam Johnson, just does things different.
Oh, okay.
I just think with Cam is timing, like
Right.
John said, timing, the market, and him missing games, and then like he said, the team being coaches and teams being changed in the time where he's trying to
Right.
grow, and
Hmm.
and that all plays a part on his you know what I'm saying, on his money. So
Right.
like lowballing him is not really a lowball because he didn't really establish, and other than scoring, and he can do that. Other than that, you've seen like John said, you see a little bit more playmaking this year. It showed a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? Because he was actually getting the assist for it, so it showed a little bit more. But whatever they looking for, he just ain't there yet. You know what I'm saying? For the league to be like, all right, Cam has arrived. You one, two, or three. He could probably be a third option. They're not there. And he, like I keep saying, he believes he's there. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else is like, no, ball hog. You know what I'm saying? Bad shot. He don't pass, even though he does. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
I don't see
Defense.
that right. Yeah.
He's improved a little bit on defense because Jordy, you know what I'm saying? So we are seeing him grow just a little bit, but for everybody else's eyes,
They
it's
don't
not
see
enough.
nothing. Yeah.
So what the Nets is looking at is like we not sure, right? So if you go out in the market and you come back, I guarantee we'll match anything. You know what I'm saying? You get back because we're not sure what to do with you, and I think that's the problem because I think with them too, they don't know if he's a six man or he's a, you know what I'm saying? He like a two or
Right,
three.
right.
They don't know what he is. You know what I'm saying? Having him on the roster, they just know Cam can score. That's the only
Yeah.
thing they really know. They probably see the same thing, little passing here. Little, is it enough for me to give you 20 mil? You know what I'm saying? And it's
Right.
probably not, unless the market is like, you know what I'm saying? Something changes where one of them guys sign is like, okay, now we can offer you 20 mil. You know what I'm saying? Something like that.
Yeah,
Ice
yeah.
Smith made a lot of valid points, and with the Michael Porter Jr. thing, his contract is very valuable. The 40 million expiring, the piece he won a ring. If he didn't win a championship with the Nuggets, that would have been a non-guaranteed like option right there. So the fact he won a ring, that's now $40 million that the Nets can use strategically to trade for a bigger upgrade or to use for cap space in the 2027 free agency, which definitely has some good guys unless they sign extensions. But his contract is very valuable, and the pick itself that we got as well. Which Dwabi asked, did you guys see the article about the top picks? I did, Dwabi. That Nuggets pick we have for 2032, a huge valuable asset. Joker's going to be towards 34, 35. The Nuggets may not be as contending a team around that point, so that's definitely going to be a valuable pick that we got. And the expiring contract he has is valuable as well. He also has a relationship with Jordy. He's that vet with championship pedigree that's definitely going to help these young guys as far as just getting acclimated with playing every day and trying to help them grow. Like if Mike Porter Jr. can become that veteran leader these next 2 years, maybe there's a role for him after 2027 when his contract expires. So there's definitely some good pros and cons there. But yeah, just like I said, the market for Cam Thomas just bad timing. The market doesn't like him. But I even say Sean Marks. He's never giving Cam any type of validation that he believes in him. And I really think Kevin Durant had a huge say in drafting Cam Thomas just because it doesn't seem like Marks and him have that rapport with each other where there's actual trust. It seems like these two have been on different sides of the aisle for 4 years. And for Cam to even have the scoring numbers he did when the roster was constantly changing and going backwards and sideways, the fact that Cam was even able to offensively contribute like he did was impressive. But just like Ice says, we've seen it in spurts with the little moments of growth with Cam Thomas. We haven't seen it for 15 to 20 games. We've seen it for maybe 5 or 10 games. For Cam Thomas next year, he's going to have to show you this at least 15 to 20 times consecutively as far as his offensive playmaking goes. If he can do that every night on a bad team, he can make a case for himself. But for right now, there's just not that big sample size where anybody's going to give him the money he wants. But the fact that the Brook organization is taking it as low as they can, even though the market is dictating that, they're also showing at the same time that Cam is an expendable piece. And for Cam Thomas, that hurts him because nobody else has his rights other than the Nets do right now. So he definitely is in his right to feel a certain way like that because he's had to make do on a bad team that's led by a bad management. So Cam is not going to take all the blame here if we look at both sides of the coin. But if he doesn't feel valued by them, he can take the qualifying offer. And I wish him the best of luck. But I still hope they can resolve this. You have about a month and a half before media day. Let's come together as adults, figure out a middle tier solution, and let's see if Cam can grow his game. I'd rather have Cam here at least so he can help these young guys not feel like they have the weight of the world on their shoulders for a very first tough year. And Cam, he can show the NBA, hey, listen, I could be a young leader on this team. I can still work on my game. And if I get some All Star votes, sayonara, suckers. I'm still proving something. So I feel like that's the best way for both sides to move forward. But if this deal isn't done by September, I feel like we have to look at the worst possible option of him taking the qualifying offer, which is definitely going to make things even more dicey and messier than they are. But Ice made some valid points. It's just very unfortunate timing at the end of the day for Cam Thomas. That became a free agent, especially on a team that never really valued him like that. So I hope they can figure this out. But just based on everything me and Ice are talking about, Cam has a lot going against him, especially things that are out of his control.
Yeah, I think I like D was saying, I think they will resolve this. I think it will be resolved though before the season start. Before September. I think the deadline is September, right?
October 1st. October 1st.
October
That's the
first.
deadline for the qualifying
Oh,
offer.
it should be done by then.
Let's
Something will
hope.
move. Something will shake. Something will shake. But let's look at next year's draft, since we are on a collision course of trying to get some more talent. Um, yeah, Ice. What you see other than the top three players in the draft?
Well, I ain't really do all my scouting yet, but more
Whoa.
on the top four. You know what I'm saying? I just started watching Duke scrimmages. I posted it on Twitter. Duke
Oh, okay.
scrimmages
Yeah, I
right
saw it
now.
on Twitter. I saw it.
Yeah. More than who? I gotta look back at the list. I ain't got my laptop. But I like I told John, Tunde Yasafu is like another
Hmm.
Edwards. I gotta see if he could, because he went to Baylor. He ended up being at Baylor this year, just like BJ. You know what I'm saying? And he looks, it moves, plays just like Ant Edwards. So we'll see how he
Oh
do
yeah,
this
I
year.
saw him. I saw
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yasafu, yeah. And there's a couple guys. Quentin, what is his name? Jaden Quentin, 6'10" center.
yeah.
I forget where he's playing. This could be his second year. There's a few guys, man. There's more. See, the thing is, they think the top three is the only franchise changing guys in this draft. I think it's more than that. You know what
Oh,
I
okay.
mean? I think you could probably get another two. You know what I'm saying? That
Right.
could be franchise guys out of this draft. You know what I'm saying? And you can get other good players like that stayed another year, like Isaiah Evans. You know what I'm saying, at Duke. If he would have came out, they had him going in the bottom first round. You know what I'm saying, bottom of the first round where we got Saraf at. He
Yeah.
was supposed to be somewhere down there. So he's going to come out this year. I think they got him still ranked in the either in the teens or in the 20s right now. But yeah, I just started. I just started. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't got that much information on everybody. I'm still scouting right now.
Right. Okay. That's good.
Yeah,
Well,
kind of same with Ice there. I'm scouting little, got some different options here and there, but I'm definitely going to get into it more as the college season approaches. But I even say Dame Sar. I know we have a lot of guards right now, but the fact that this guy is 6'8", but he has a 6'11" and three quarters wingspan is
who you talking
freaky
about?
geeky, man. Dame Sar, he's a Duke guard. He
Oh,
looks
okay.
he looks like he could be a potential steal in this draft as well. But yeah, Yasafu, man, I saw some film too. Looks like an Anthony Edwards Ant Man clone, which is scary. And then also Sanak, he's one of the best potential centers in this draft. And Native Mont, man, he gives me Kevin Durant vibes. He's got a jump shot, and
Wow.
he's so tall. Like I'm
Yeah.
telling you, the top, I would say the top 6 or 7 in this draft could really be franchise guys, or all make a case to be a number one potential draft prospect. I think for the Nets, though, if I'm prioritizing what's most important, a wing or a center is the main goal for the Nets. It'd be fun to get a Dame Sar or a Darren Peterson, especially, but given all the guards we have, getting a Dabasa Boozer changes your wing position exponentially. Or getting a guy like Nate Amont, who, like I just said, could have Kevin Durant potential, could be a huge game changer for you as well, or Sanak, who could be one of the best big men in this draft. I think getting a center or a power forward should be the main goal with our lottery pick next year. And if we get in that top three, the Banster or Boozer are really going to be my top options right now as far as a game changer. If you get the Banster, it's going to be crazy up in Brooklyn. But Cam Boozer as well, I feel like he's what fits Brooklyn's identity overall, offensively and defensively. One of the most versatile guys in this draft. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some good guys. Me and Ice are going to scout, but I can't wait till we actually get film on them from their college games because I think they're really going to set high bars. And if I'm this Brooklyn scouting department, you better have all your eggs covered with all these prospects you're scouting this year because you cannot screw this up. There's no disagree and commit. It's commit from day one on who this guy could really be that can change the franchise of your team for the better. But yeah, there's definitely the top 6 or 7 next year. That's where the Nets got to aim for. And if they do get one of those guys, it's going to be a show in Brooklyn after 2026. That's for sure.
Well, no more international players then.
Well, unless you want Kareem Lopez, who me and I said are a B minus wing.
No more international players. Come on now. Let's pick some local homeboys, local boys. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, we'll see. A lot of them just starting with their scrimmages and practicing right now. A lot of teams don't even have their scrimmages up
They
online.
scrimmage, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I've been looking. I've been looking to see Nate at Tennessee, Baylor. You know what I'm saying? Yes, a fool. I've been looking, so a lot of teams don't have it up yet. I'm gonna keep on watching to see where they put it up. But Duke seems to be the one to get their stuff up first. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
They
always
got
do.
everything up right now.
Yeah, but they have a whole team full of people that probably half their team gonna be drafted for
Yeah,
sure.
they starting five. They starting five is in the
First
first round
round.
right
That's
now.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Sanak is in Duke, right? That center, Sanak, he's in Duke, right?
I'm not sure if Sanak is at Duke. I know all the Boozer brothers, Dame, Isaiah Evans. It might be him. It might be him. He might be the center. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Because
I got to check that
it's five
again.
of them,
Shit, man.
five of them in the first round, so it could be him.
Duke always putting out good talent.
Nah, definitely the bounce of those is going to be the show of the draft. Like this guy, I'm telling you, the aura gives me Michael Jordan, LeBron James esque vibes. Like this
He
guy
might
looks
be
like a
a
grown man.
he
Looks
might
like a
be
grown man
he
ready to
might be
play
the
in the
real
pros.
deal. He
I'm
might be the
telling you.
real deal. He
If
might
you're the
Yeah,
be.
number one team drafting him next year, you got to feel like you won the jackpot, the lottery, and you won $1 million on a game show because he looks like a physical freak that Captain America could create in a Marvel comic
But
book, man. Like
no, but I'm
that's how
dead
that's how
serious.
good that's how good he looks from afar. But you definitely want to hope the ego's in check and his skill set just dominates. Like
Well,
he looks like
everybody
that
said
guy.
that same thing about Cooper Flag, man. Everybody said that he's the real deal, and I'm not saying he ain't. I'm just saying this is the same story. I'm
no,
hearing the
but
same story.
when they were saying that about Coop, they were saying AJ was already better. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
They
right. They
they were
did
saying
say
AJ
AJ
was.
was better. Right,
Yeah, they say he's already better. So we'll see because he's 6'9",
right.
do something already. You know what I'm saying? As a high school kid like that, him and Cameron Boozer is I don't even
Right?
man children.
I saw
Like,
Cameron Boozer.
yeah,
Yeah,
Cameron
it ain't even
235.
fair. He's already
Yeah,
developed. He's already
yeah,
developed.
like 6'9", 235. Like what?
Yeah,
You're a linebacker.
yeah.
I'm telling you,
He plays
but
big.
Boozer DeBosa, they're definitely going to set a high bar as far as the wings go, and I can't wait to see them hopefully face each other because they faced each other in high school and they had some really good games against each other. Like those guys definitely could be good rivals in the NBA for years to come. And they actually the schedule that came out apparently Dallas and the Spurs are going to face each other on opening night. That means we get to see Cooper Flag and Dylan Harper hopefully play against each other, which could be a fun little hors d'oeuvre for sure.
Boy, they want San Antonio to be America's team, don't they?
They want somebody to be America's team.
They pushing that. And
They
Dallas,
want
they just can't do no wrong. They just can't do. They
You
can't
gotta
do
see
no
what happens with
more.
Kyrie and Davis. I don't think this is their year. The following year has to be their year, or else I think that thing just breaks up because Kyrie and Davis are going to be in their mid 30s in like 2 to 3 years. Like
Yeah,
the
but
only
I'm just
consolation
saying
is you have Cooper.
they
That's
don't
the
even
only.
have to play a whole season, man. They could play a half a season and be a threat.
They got D'Lo. I'm not going to put much stock till I see where they're at towards the deadline. If they're like top 14,
Don't
okay, Scott, they got a
underestimate
shot.
them.
But if they're like six of
Don't
playing,
don't
eh.
don't underestimate them. They'll make a good Saturday night game, and you know that.
Do you
They'll
think
make a
Anthony Davis is going to be healthy the whole season, though, Scott? That's what really depends on.
no, I
Davis
don't
has to be
think so.
healthy.
No, he never do. But he don't need to. He just need to be healthy them last 10 games of the season.
I don't know
that,
about that.
that's all he need to do is be ready because they're going to be in the playoffs.
Here's a good question. Do you think it should have been Denver versus OKC on opening night instead of the Rockets? Because I thought Nuggets OKC had one of the best playoff series of the whole bunch, and the
I
fact they
just
got
thought
snubbed like this,
I
I thought that
I
was a little
I just
interesting.
thought this playoffs was a example of young teams. This whole thing was about youth. It wasn't even about the vets. It wasn't about Curry. It wasn't about LeBron's or Anthony Davis or Kyrie or none of the people that we already know. It was about the young up and coming stars this past playoffs. That's what it was.
Yeah,
So
I wish we had one of those guys. I really
yeah,
do because the LeBron,
it's
Katie, Curry era is going to be over before we know it, and that's the only thing I could look at as hopeful is the fact that we're entering a new era of NBA basketball. But you still
yeah.
want to hope that the Brooklyn Nets they are financially successful right now. It's just you need the actual players to be successful because
You
you
need it
want
for
to
the
create a winning
fans.
culture.
You want to build
Yeah,
your
you
fan
want the fans to
base.
be invested,
You
and the
want to
fan
be
base want that. That's the thing. The Brooklyn fan base, we're one of the best media teams out there because no matter the ups and downs, we're still covering what's going on. Do we like it? Hell no. But
hell
we
no.
want this team to be successful. And that's my thing with Sean and Joe. You have a base that's trying to tell you the facts. You don't have to listen to everything we say, but many of us are on the money with what's wrong with this team and what this team needs. If they don't want to play ball, though, they got to either get out the way or find people who can do the job because the base is not going to wait 10 years for this team to find itself again and do
That's
it all
right.
in one season. We
That's
want
true.
multiple years of being a good team.
That's
That's what the
true.
base wants and deserves because they come to almost every game they can come to and they still try to cheer on the team even through the ups and downs. But this draft next year, you got to hit a grand slam and get
Yeah.
somebody that can be a franchise guy to join
Yeah.
what you drafted this year because that's the only way it's going to work.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Oh well. I'm gonna end the show.
Fun show, guys. Always good talk
Yeah.
with you.
All
It was
right.
good. It was good. It was good. I'm glad to get opportunity to talk a little bit about the Nets because I just know this season's gonna be tough. But I'm gonna try to cover more, and more stuff about the young guys that we got. We just need to see them play. They just need to play. That's it. That's the bottom line. Just play ball. Play hard. That's all. All right. Thanks, Iceman. John, everything
Appreciate it.
BK. Where can we see you from, John? On X?
Scott, always great to talk basketball with you. I assume you always chop it up very well. If you ever want to talk fun basketball, you can follow me on Twitter at everythingbknetjohn. Scott and Ice know I produce a lot of good content, put a lot of good posts out there. So if you want to follow me, it's everythingbknetjohn. Ice, he does his own show. Very great show, as always. And Scott, Apartment Gamer, you know what's up. We just had a great conversation about a whole bunch of Brooklyn stuff. And like you said, we got Media Day coming up in training camp. Definitely going to have more fun combos with these guys in the future. But
Right.
shout out to all you, and if you ever want to talk fun basketball, it's Eric and BK and that's John.
Yeah. And where can you reach you at John Ice?
Yo, you can find me at the Tip Off of Brooklyn Nets podcast on YouTube and on TikTok. You heard?
Yeah. I'm gonna put y'all links down. So thanks guys.
Thanks,
Um
Scott.
peace everybody. Peace and love. Like and subscribe. Thank
Peace,
you.
everyone.
Thank you for being here, John.